Now, move on to the AFC East. This is an interesting division. A lot of changes. The Bills, I have winning the division at 10-6. Not a very strong division this year. They signed Josh Norman, Quentin Spain, who's a guard, A.J. Klein, linebacker, Mario Addison, Quentin Jefferson, Vernon Butler, and they also traded for Stephon Diggs. They added a lot of solid talent, a great receiver in Stephon Diggs to help Josh Allen. But yet again, the quarterback in Josh Allen, I don't completely trust him yet. He showed a lot of fizzling in that playoff game, a lot of downside in terms of pressure, and I feel like the pressure is really going to be on him this year to turn it around and put up a high-powered team because he has Stephon Diggs now. And a lot of people are going to say, look, you got Stephon Diggs, they got you a big-time receiver, they got you an O-lineman. Put it together, man. And I do believe he's going to put it together enough to have a decent seed in the playoffs. But outside of that, I don't believe they'll go far in the playoffs. But I do believe they will win the AFC East. They're a solid team. Josh Allen's a solid quarterback. I believe in him long-term, but I don't know if he's ready to make, a 12-4, 13-3 Super Bowl run in his third year. Now, after the Bills, you have the Patriots at 9-7. They had a lot of losses. They lost Tom Brady, arguably, in my eyes, the best quarterback of all time. They lost Kyle Van Noy, one of their best linebackers. They lost both their linebackers. They also lost Jamie Collins, which, again, is the other linebacker. They lost Nate Ebner, the safety. They lost Philip Dorsett, which, honestly, Philip Dorsett wasn't really a loss because he didn't do much at all last season. And they lost D-tackle Danny Shelton. They lost linebacker Landon Roberts. And the only people they added was Jameer Beard, who is a wide receiver who has never really proved himself to be much better than a fourth or third string wide receiver at best. Bu Allen, a D-tackle. Adrian Phillips, who's a solid safety, but I don't think he's going to be really anything special. And Danny Vitale, fullback, which I'm guessing is to help them move on from Landon Roberts, seeing as we really don't know if their current fullback is going to be ready by next season, and Brandon Copeland, the linebacker. Now, the only reason I have them at 9-7, because they suffered so many losses, is because they have Bill Belichick. And not only that, but they have a Bill Belichick with something to prove. That's special. That's something you got to keep an eye on. Bill Belichick has something to prove. Brady left. The trio is over. No more Kraft, Brady, Belichick. It's over. Brady's on his own. Belichick's on his own. Who is going to prove that the credit goes to them? Now, I don't know if that is their entire want. I think they're honestly just two guys who want to win games. But there's a little bit of chip on Belichick's shoulder, I assure you, that says, all right, Kraft, I wanted to trade Brady to San Francisco 2 years ago. Kraft said no because it was all about Brady. It's always been about Brady. All right. Well, I'm going to show Kraft and I'm going to show the world that I can win myself. Because he hasn't really done that before. He really hasn't. He went to a Super Bowl before the Patriots, but he was never a head coach. Never won a Super Bowl as a head coach without Brady. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Bill Belichick can do. I think it's possible that they have a higher ceiling than that. I think their ceiling is, 11-5, 12-4. But just with that talent, I really don't know how high Belichick is going to be able to improve the players that they have. Belichick always seems to sneak into the playoffs with a really, really low roster. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can do it without his man Brady. And now after the Patriots, you have the Dolphins at 5-11. They signed Michael Roberts, who's a tight end, safety Clayton Fagellum, Eric Flowers, offensive guard, Kyle Van Noy from the Patriots, edge Shaq Lawson, cornerback Byron Jones, center Ted Karras, edge Emmanuel Ogba, Jordan Howard, and Landon Roberts. So they got a lot of additions, really had a lot of great additions. Now obviously a lot of great signings, but again, no solid quarterback yet. I do believe that either they're going to get Tua or they're going to get Burrow if they can find an amazing trade with the Bengals. But what I am interested for is more the 2021 season than this upcoming season for the Dolphins. Because they're getting a lot of talent on this team. They're building. They have the coach. They're getting the talent. Now this year, get the quarterback. Develop him over the season. They won't do terrible, but they're not going to, again, a fresh quarterback, a lot of new faces. They're not going to be a solid team enough to make the playoffs. But look for 2021. They could very well be a powerhouse team. Then last in the AFC East, you go to the New York Jets. Offseason moves, they got Brian Poole, cornerback, Connor McGovern, a center, Brashad Perriman, kind of an okay wide receiver, George Fant, offensive tackle, and Greg Van Roten, an O-lineman. Now, I love the O-line additions, but I feel like the Jets will fall off after starting somewhere near 2-2 or 3-3. But I feel like the team simply doesn't have a good coach. They just don't, nor a great quarterback. I'm all for their quarterback, man, but I feel like he's going to see ghosts. He's going to keep seeing ghosts, and the Jets simply are not going to have a good season next year. I just don't believe they will. I think the quarterback and the coaching position is going to be the death of them.